in the studio right now. The boys from Placebo.
Hey, welcome down, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Am I really on the X Factor?
Well, the reason we call ourselves the X Factor is we used to date. We are actually.
So there's an
X
actual E in front of the X, so we'll play.
Okay.
So.
We'll play on that.
Do you guys have the X Factor over here? The TV show?
No, we don't.
No?
It's good.
We watch the US one a lot, so,
Okay.
and the UK one too. So
Of course. Yes, Steve.
No, you're one of the lucky ones that haven't been plagued by that yet. So that's good.
We don't call it the X Factor, we just call it the work of Satan.
ouch, ouch. Of course, in the studio right now, Brian Molko as well as Steve Forrest of Placebo. Guys, welcome to Singapore, first of all. Welcome
Thank
back.
you very much.
Thanks.
I think Steve's second time and Brian's fourth time you mentioned.
Something like that,
Okay.
yeah.
Lost count.
Well, yeah, you know, it was the 90s. I don't really remember the 90s.
I don't even remember what I did yesterday, much less the 90s.
Exactly, right? I know there's one thing, though, like, I mean, when that song was playing and you guys were talking about, you know, how you guys play it live on stage, I mean, obviously there is something different, but how does it feel, first of all, for you guys when you hear your song, like, on the radio, on the record? Do you guys, like, still, like, you know, like, jam to it?
He does.
I get really excited when I hear us on the radio.
Yeah.
I still get something that hasn't really quite left me yet. I still get quite giddy about hearing yourself on the radio. It's still quite exciting.
Very cool, very cool.
Keeps them grounded, I guess.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so how have we been treating you so far? Singapore.
Marvelous, thank
Very
you.
well. Yes.
What, did you try any of our food again? Or did you try something different this time? Lots of different things.
I have a tendency to go quiet when people ask me about food.
About food?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah.
All right. Steve, anything?
I haven't been out the I haven't been out the hotel yet, so no, not
gosh.
really. We've been sort of doing promo all day, so I haven't gotten a chance to. Not yet.
The life of a rock star. The life of a rock star.
So, what are you guys planning for us tomorrow then?
Oh, lots of noise. Some energy.
Okay.
Right.
It's going to be loud.
Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
you can expect loud.
You know, talking about listening to a song on the record and then seeing Placebo live, I mean, obviously there's a difference, but, you know, what sort of a difference is that?
Well, it's usually quite a bit faster, sweatier, and
I'm liking it.
kind of a little bit more discordant, I suppose.
Right.
Yeah. We have a tendency to, we don't really play too many songs like they are on the record.
Okay.
For many different reasons.
Right.
Sometimes songs take on a life of their own as you tour them, and you wish that the song that you end up playing at the end of the tour was the one that you were able to record.
Right.
But that doesn't always happen, and sometimes we have to sort of rewrite them in order to keep them alive, because we get really quite bored with the original versions.
Gotta keep it interesting.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But isn't that what music's all about? I mean, it is a living thing. Something
Yes.
that changes, evolves. I
Well,
guess.
yeah. Well, I think a good song can be played in many different, sort of styles or forms. I mean, for me, essentially, if you can kind of strip it back to just one instrument and a voice, then that's a sign of a really, really good song. But
Right.
if you could also rewrite your own song, then it has something to it. Then
There you go.
Yeah.
So, okay, if I've never been to a Placebo concert before, what can I expect from, a live show?
Noise.
Sweating.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we have fun up there. We rock out and just have a good time. I mean, each gig is sort of different. It depends on the audience as well. How much the audience gives back to us, and we kind of meet in the middle. That's where the kind of magic happens, and that's where the gigs stand apart from one another. And that's so it's can't really say expect this something special.
Right.
It's kind of like, well, you got to be there, and we'll see what happens. In the moment.
In the studio, we're 3 people. On stage, we're 6.
So, yeah. There you go.
Okay, well, speaking
That's,
of loud,
double your fun. Double your members, double your fun.
looking forward to it. More from Placebo in just a bit. We're going to, speaking of loud and music, Loud Like Love is
Yep.
the latest album. We'll talk more of that. And fans.
Yeah?
Fans.
Oh, yes. We'll find out the difference between, I guess, fans here in Asia and fans in Europe, perhaps. Plus, we want to hook you up with those pairs of tickets to the concert tomorrow, plus meet and greet passes as well. Tell you how in just a bit. Love music, Placebo, TMF, Too Many Friends.
Hey, how you doing? It is Mr. Young and Jackie with you on the X Factor. And the thing is, we hear their songs on the radio. But we have them in the studio right now.
I know, how cool is that? Brian and Steve from Placebo in the studio right now. That's
We
how
are.
first taking off their album Loud Like Love. That's coming out really soon, by the way.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the album, by the way?
I think they can.
I think it's rather good,
Right? Very modest. They are.
We've outdone ourselves this time. What would you like to know?
Everything about the album.
It was
Where to
recorded
start?
in London.
Okay.
It has 10 songs on it.
Okay.
It's produced by Adam Noble.
Okay. What inspired?
Features hammered dulcimer.
Features a Hamid Dulcimer, yeah.
Yeah.
What inspired the album?
Ooh, 20 years.
20
That's
years
more
of
than you get for murder. Yeah. I don't know, in Singapore, maybe more. I don't know, it's just, 20 years.
You're
But that's
excited.
also a song that we had ages ago. But not that song specifically.
Are you the most
The period
excited?
of time.
Are you the most excited about this album?
Yeah, well, right now, yeah. I have felt like this before,
Okay.
but I feel a little better now.
That's always good.
That song in particular, that one's a little bit about social media, isn't it?
Well, I suppose, in a way, but it's kind of more about people, or a
Right.
person in particular, and kind of a new kind of social isolation,
Right.
really. It's just, the person who inhabits this song still feels very, very disconnected.
Yes.
Even though, as these enormous corporations would have us believe, we are more interconnected than we ever were.
Right.
So it's a little small story about that, and I suppose it asks a couple of questions as to whether we are more connected than we were before.
Right.
And what is the nature of friendship in the 21st century?
That's a
And
very-
how many real friends do you actually have?
That is true.
And all those dimensions.
That is such a real question, especially in this day and age where it's Twitter, Facebook. Hey, I have 4,000 friends on Facebook. Well, how many friends do you really have?
Right.
It's someone
And
actually
do you
on...
need that many friends I mean, do you
right.
really? Or is having that many friends, what effect does that have on your self-esteem? And how real is that effect?
Right.
Yeah. Like,
You
how
know.
does that change you?
Right. Hey, finally, someone on Twitter just dropped us a message saying, "Hug Steve for me," from Anna Fernandez. So Anna Fernandez wants a hug. So
You wanna
Jackie,
go
you,
and-
So
we'll all
who's
have
going to hug Steve?
we'll all have
Who gets to
a
hug
then,
me?
Yeah.
big group hug
Does
later.
that objectify you in any way, Steve? Do you feel like an object
Do I
right
feel like an
now?
object? I don't.
I would feel a bit
Little bit?
objectified
Really?
if I was in your
I
position
come from
right
the
now.
land where people hug, though. I come from California.
Yeah?
Everybody hugs in
Oh,
California.
okay.
Hug life.
Hug life.
Yeah.
Hugs, not drugs.
Sharing is caring.
There you
Spreading
go.
the love.
All right, you guys performing tomorrow evening at the Coliseum Hard Rock Hotel, Resorts World Sentosa. By the way, you can still get tickets. There are very few left. Go to cystic.com.sg. They range from $88 to $148.
Okay, so speaking of
Worth
which,
every penny.
Yes.
I promise.
what are the difference between Singapore fans and fans from around the world, like in the States and in London?
Well, when people come together to a Placebo show, there's a certain kind of feeling of unity, and I think there's a real kind of family sort of vibe at all of our shows. Most of the time, wherever we are, the audiences are extremely demonstrative and and generous.
Right.
So, that happens here too.
Very cool. Anything you want to say to your fans right here in Singapore?
Before
right
we
now?
see you
before
tomorrow.
we see you at the concert.
What do you want to say, Steve?
Wow.
I'm intrigued at how come you guys ended up? What's the whole setup then? Because how long were you together?
5 years.
And then how long ago did you split up?
2 years.
And were you working together when you first got together?
No.
No, and then you got together, and then okay. And what
Yeah.
precipitated the breakup?
This is a long, sordid story.
Oh,
that-
come on, we've got time.
We'll get into it off air maybe. It's a little bit later on. But yes.
Okay, so anything do you want to say to your fans over here in Singapore before you perform for us live tomorrow?
Well, we'll do our best not to disappoint.
Well said. Well said.
There you have it. Guys, Placebo, remember, go get your tickets right now. Cystic.com.sg is happening tomorrow evening at the Coliseum. And in just a little while, by the way, we will be hooking you up with some tickets as well as meet and greet passes. Stick around for that. In the meantime, though, guys, thank you so much for being here.
For being here.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks.